navigating without, blacked out Europe, blacked out plane, and how the hell am I going to find anything? The bombardier had to do what they called night pilotage. He had to catch a gleam of moonlight off railroad tracks. He had to see the outline of a forest. He had to see what this is a village, things like, and report that to me. I'd put that together with all the other work I was doing so that we would know where we were. It took us about 2 hours to get to this rendezvous point from where our base was in England. It was late dusk, but by the time we got to the coast, it was dark. We would get to the vicinity of this Osric around 12, and then we'd be back to base at 2. So this all had to happen between 2 and 5. There was 3 hours. I was the navigator. I had to get us there, and I had to get us back safely. Everything all happened at that time. They never told us what our casualty rate was, and that was very wise. It was 50%. We finished this wonderful mission. We didn't know it was a wonderful mission, but it was a success. The brass seemed happy. And then, all of a sudden, they were frantic. They didn't reset the timing devices for these mental mines to go off. The original timing was 5 minutes. When you have 100 or more people in the water doing all of this, 5 minutes is impossible. You needed to reset the time. Otherwise, if they all went off in 5 minutes, you could wipe out the whole underground. So they had to send back somebody immediately that night with the correct timing device for these timing devices. That set the timing for 35 minutes, not 5 minutes, 35 minutes. So to get out of the water and out of the way. The man who went back in had been a kid who'd been shipped out of Belgium because his the son of a Jewish family which was in the diamond business, and he'd never heard from his family again. And he offered to go in because he knew the country, he spoke the language, he knew the city, he spoke French and German and Flemish and English. So they sent him in, they dropped him. The underground didn't believe him. They turned him over to the Germans. And they got in touch with British intelligence and said, we've been infiltrated. There was this crazy operation. What do we do? And they said, you've got to rescue him. He has the correct information. You'll all be killed. You have to do what he says. You have to get this correct information. And you have to get him out of the country before dawn. There'll be a mini-sub waiting out in the North Sea at the end of the harbor. When the bombs went off in the water, it distracted all of the German soldiers. There was a small outfit that worked with the underground. This was a bunch of young daredevil Jews who were known as the Angels of Death or something or other. Anything that required absolute bravery. And they said, get him out and get him to the coast. And they did. He had the correct timing, and he gave it to them, and they had to circulate that. This was all very compressed time. They had to do it right, and they did it right. The shipping was sunk. 2 weeks later, Antwerp Harbor was freed. 4 weeks later, Belgium was freed.
When did you find out the bombing of the ships was successful?
2001. Never knew. This took place on August 9th of 1944. And I'm blessed enough to be here to tell it.